Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for your time. I appreciate you watching. If you want to stay up to date on Second Amendment news, hit that subscribe button down below. Today we're going to talk about the ATF and the report that they just released because it gives us an insight into more gun control coming down the pipe with them that we don't know about yet. Well, we do now. And before I jump into this, I want to thank the USCCA. Guys and gals, if you carry a firearm, or if you want to learn as much as possible or even train yourself to be as good as possible, then check out the link down below. It's uscca.com/GNG. The USCCA gets you ready for what happens before, during, and after an act of self-defense. And there's a ton of education and training on their website and in classrooms. They actually teach classes. You can become an instructor if you choose. They're doing a lot of good things, and as a member, you get self-defense liability insurance. So if you carry a firearm, you should definitely check them out. It's what I use for myself and my family, and I strongly suggest you look them up. uscca.com/GNG. Link is down below. Thank you, guys. Let's jump into this report that the ATF released. And the whole report's not out yet. Let me explain. So, in April of 2021, Joe Biden, in one of his anti-gun speeches, I believe this one was in the Rose Garden, he commanded the Department of Justice, specifically the ATF, to start issuing an annual report on gun trafficking. Well, the first volume of a 4-volume series dropped a couple days ago, and it's called the National Firearms Commerce and Trafficking Assessment, and it's 306 pages long. Now, I skimmed through it. I didn't read everything in detail. I will go back and get deeper into it, but I'm going to tell you some of the things in here are eye-opening. Some of the things give you a clear vision of what the ATF is trying to do, and it also tells you some more tweaks on gun control that's going to be their next step. After, the frame and receiver redefining, and they're going to go after pistol braces, but there's something else coming as well. So we learn a couple things in this report. We learn, first off, that the ATF has paired with anti-gun researchers, and I'll tell you who they are in a second and what they've done, but this is where the ATF is getting the information for this report, which definitely tells you that it's all slant, okay, all of it. And they're also getting a lot of information from the same people in California that keep all of their gun statistics and give them out to anti-gun researchers. Tells you a lot. Now, one thing you'll see if you look through this document, that it is praising their new final rule on redefining frame and receiver. They're basically pumping it up like it's the best thing since sliced bread, and the world would crumble and die if they didn't come up with this masterpiece. It also does a good try to justify their new rule that they're working on, and that's with the stabilizing braces. Again, if they don't do this, everybody will die. Like, space aliens will invade, and we will be wiped out if they don't do this new rule. There's also a section on there about them talking trash about permitless carry, constitutional carry. One thing you see over and over again in this document is ways that they would love to increase their budget, increase their manpower, and increase their reach and thus oversight on firearms. It is obvious in this that they are looking to grow and become more powerful. Editor's note, they still don't have any legal authority to create law. Sorry, ATF. One thing I noticed when reading this is their outright cry, and they're begging to have an increased amount of IOIs. For those who aren't FFLs, those are the people who go into federal firearms licensed dealers and do inspections. The amount of IOIs that they had in 2020 were 612 and 137 additional supervisors, which is a total of 749. They want to more than double that number to get to over 1,500 IOIs, and this is a direct result of the Joe Biden new zero tolerance policy that he had Merrick Garland pen up, and I've done a video on it. Revocations of FFLs are up over 500% in the first 10 months under Joe Biden, and this is exactly what he wants these foot soldiers for, to continue to remove FFLs as fast as possible, as many as possible, over the simplest of errors, including small paperwork errors. Small clerical errors will cost people their license for their business. So that's what these additions would be for. This is what they're pushing for, as well as trying to get their budget more than doubled. Chuck Schumer has been crying about that for a while. The gun control coming down the road that I was talking about, speaking of FFLs, you can get a 03 license, an 03, a curio and relic license for collectors. In order to be a curio and relic, the firearm would have had to have been manufactured at least 50 years prior to the current date. And then you could purchase them under your 03 license. The license for the 03s is very easy to get. Fill out the paperwork. I think it's $25. I could be wrong. But ATF is very concerned with the amount of firearms that are approaching that 50-year mark, and then they don't want you to have these types of firearms. So they want to change what is a curio and relic. Now I'm going to read you what's in the actual report. I forgot to take a screenshot of this part, but what this report says is that the Department of Justice should review the curio and relic criteria in 27 CFR 478 to determine if the more than 50 years old factor is still valid in determining that a firearm is truly a curio or a relic. Nothing in there says public safety is at risk. They don't even go into justifying it. They just don't want you to have these guns that are becoming 50 years of age right now. Now, in their acknowledgements section, the ATF thanks people who contributed immensely to the report. I'm going to give you a couple names. Some of you who are in this game might recognize these names. Anthony Braga, Philip J. Cook, Garen Wintermute, and Elena DiBiase. Now, Braga and Cook have both been all over the map for pushing like majorly restrictive gun control. They both have been worked together and put out papers pushing for and begging for a federal ammunition and gun tax. And in that paper, that was 2000, in that paper, they acknowledged that, yes, this tax would affect poor people and keep them potentially from exercising their Second Amendment rights, but it was okay because in the end, unicorns and rainbows would happen. So they're famous for that. They're also famous for pushing to criminalize private transactions. That's why you see a lot of the gun control being pushed has that in it. It's because of these two clowns. They also are big fans of what's called lawfare. Similar to warfare, lawfare. And what that is like you're seeing what happened Connecticut versus Remington in the Sandy Hook families, right? And I did a video the other day about how Remington is possibly getting sued again from one of the victims' families in Buffalo. That's lawfare. Sue the gun manufacturers so that you can push the political agenda without having to make any legislative changes, thus improving the anti-gun politics and changing the status quo. Cook has even gone so far as to push for an outright ban on the manufacture of small arms, handguns. He would like to ban those. And he also said that gun shows should be regulated or abolished. So these two cats are contributing to the ATF and all of their research and how they're going to be going forward with this Biden-mandated report on gun trafficking. So this is very biased, and the ATF is working with some of the worst to show the government which way they should go. Yeah, what could go wrong there? Now, Wintermute is the director of the Violence Prevention Research Institute at UC Davis. That's where California keeps all of its taxpayer-funded anti-gun research information. And DiBiase is from the California Firearm Violence Research Center. So you have the ATF working with anti-gun propagandists to create a report that's supposed to push the government in a direction because of rogue gun dealers, which there's no such friggin' thing, but they're working hard and tirelessly to further inflict paper cuts on the Second Amendment. This is definitely death by 1,000 cuts, and by now telling us they want to change curio and relics, guys, they are not stopping at anything. They don't even want you to have antiques anymore. So I could continue to go on, but it's all in there, 306 pages. I'll link it down below if you want to take a peek. I suggest you do, because thumbing through it, you'll see the amount of NFA applications and how they've increased over the last couple of years, both paper and e-forms. If you're into that, it tells you how many they've received, how many they've processed, goes into guns that are imported and stuff like that. There's a ton of information in this report, 306 pages. It's mostly BS, though. So this is part one, volume one, and there will be 3 more coming. We don't have a date on when they're coming, but rest assured, when they're out, I'll bring them to you. And if you like this type of information, please help the channel continue to grow. Hit the like button down below so more people see the video. Share it to help in that endeavor. Hit the subscribe button so that you will join this growing freedom family and know when I put out new information. Hit the bell icon and toggle it to all notifications, and it means so much that you will consider doing that. Also, if you would love to have this t-shirt or hoodie, this is the new Sons of Liberty. That's us. That's this group, this community. I'll have a link down below as well so that you can grab one. All right, guys, until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your family, your community safe, because that's what the Second Amendment is for. Don't care what this article or this report says. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Take care.